Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. There was a steady hum of activity in the hospital's emergency room. Amidst the shuffle of hurried footsteps and the low murmurs of doctors and nurses discussing cases, the sound of cardiac monitors reverberated across the room. It was a place where fragility and life met, and the air was heavy with tension and antiseptic. Niles Valentine was one of the numerous patients, lying in a bed with a pale, tired face. Under the oxygen mask covering his face, his chest rose and fell feebly, encased in heavy bandages. In a plastic chair next to him, Matilda sat still, her hands gripping his like a lifeline. Hours of crying had left her typically bright eyes swollen and ringed with red. She gazed at Niles, hoping he would open his eyes completely and give her the kind of grin he always gave her when she needed comfort. However, he lay motionless, his body bruised from the near-fatal vehicle crash. As soon as Matilda got the call, her thoughts kept playing back. Her phone had rang while she was at home folding clothes. The paramedic, who spoke calmly yet urgently, informed her that Niles had been involved in a major vehicle accident. The rest of the details were a blur. All she could recall was the sinking sensation in her chest and the instinctive need to reach him as quickly as possible. With her hands trembling on the steering wheel and her mind racing with what-if scenarios, she drove to the hospital in a haze. What if she didn't have him? What if she never had the opportunity to express her feelings for him? Her knees almost buckled when she got there and saw him on the stretcher. She needed to balance herself by clinging to the wall. She felt powerless now as she sat by his bedside and watched him struggle through the pain. In front of her, the man who had always been her pillar of support and her haven suddenly lay weak and exposed. It was nearly intolerable to see him in this state. The moments passed slowly, and the wall clocks ticking seemed to be an insult to her despair. Unbidden memories flashed through her mind. Their wedding day, when Niles had fumbled his vows, making everyone laugh. The argument they had over which country to live in, each of them adamantly defending their decision. And the innumerable nights they spent discussing their plans, their dreams, and their future. She reflected on what they had both given up to be together. She had put up with the suspicion and criticism of those who didn't get their love, and Niles had abandoned his family and job to begin a new life with her. Although it had never been simple, the effort had always been worthwhile. She hadn't realized until now how much she depended on him and how his absence, even for a brief instant, could make her feel free. She was startled out of her reverie when the door creaked open. With his white coat swishing behind him, Dr. Patel entered. Although his expression was composed, Matilda's heart sprang with fear. She hurried to her feet, waiting for him to say something, her hands shaking. Dr. Patel spoke in a calm, controlled voice. "Mrs. I have some good news. Your hubby will be all right." Matilda's throat tightened with breath. He's all right." As if speaking too loudly might break the delicate reality, she whispered. Dr. Patel gave a nod. "He has internal bruises, which is the cause of his chest pain. Neither his heart nor lungs are permanently damaged. With the right care and relaxation, he will fully recover." A sense of relief swept over her. Her eyes filled with tears once more, but this time they were tears of appreciation. Her voice was full with emotion as she said, "Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much." The physician grinned warmly. "He's a fortunate man. Additionally, you will need to assist him in his recuperation. Rest, no stress, no overdoing it." Matilda went back to Niles as Dr. Patel walked out of the room. His eyes were open now, just enough to let her know he was paying attention. Her heart wrenched with relief and love as his lips curled into the smallest of grins. She sat next to him and took his hand once again, whispering, "You're awake. Niles, you scared me. I was afraid I might lose you." The oxygen mask had muffled his speech a little. "I apologize, failed to spot the truck. It went by so quickly." Her voice broke as she hurriedly stated, "It doesn't matter. You're present. That is the only thing that counts." His eyes were tired but loving as he gazed at her. "Matilda, you're stronger than you realize." Tears were running down her cheeks as she shook her head. "I don't feel powerful. Not without you." Niles was able to give her hand a feeble squeeze. "We've had worse. We'll overcome this as well." Matilda wiped away her tears and straightened. "Niles, no. We don't simply get past this. This serves as a warning. No more assuming anything about one another. No more squandering time on pointless discussions. We make every minute matter from now on. A slight grin appeared on his face. I'm going to hold you to that. With the exception of the gentle buzz of the nearby equipment, the room slipped into a cozy calm. For the first time in hours, Matilda closed her eyes and laid her head on his arm. She recognized that this was only another chapter in their tale as she reflected on their journey together, how far they had come, and how much they had conquered. Despite the brittleness and unpredictability of life, their love was the one thing that would always be there for them. She gave herself permission to feel hopeful for the first time since the accident. They had already been put to the test, and each time they had come out stronger. It would be the same this time. They would confront whatever was ahead together. They would rebuild their story together. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.